2-day online training of women with disabilities. Theme: COVID-19 pandemic, improving the responsiveness of humanitarian and health systems in Nigeria to the needs of women with disabilities. Organized by BONews Service with support from Urgent Action Fund Africa. Facilitators: Ekaite Judisumo, National President, Joint National Association of Persons with Disabilities, JONAPID, and founder, Factive Disability Plus. Dr. Adebukola Adebayo, Chairman, JONAPID Lagos, and founder, HORDC. Shola Abe, journalist and young leader, Women Deliver.
To male and female, meaning that it is socially constructed. That within society, we just sat together and said, okay, this is a male, this is a female, this is what the male can do, and this is what the female can do. And we gave it to ourselves and began to call it gender roles. So again, it was us who defined that, and that's why it's a social construct. And in all of that, we saw that there was this power relation between male and female. So that power dynamics, that power relation is what is leading to the marginalization, exclusion, or whatever we'll find. And so how does that again affect those power, that power relation, how does it again affect us in humanitarian settings, in the COVID-19 situation? So, and how are we going to deal with it going forward? Those were the things, and there must be a flow. That is why I'm taking one step backwards. So today is understanding the peculiarities and the vulnerability of women with disability to domestic and gender-based violence. So what are the peculiarities? I mean, what makes it different? If I ask, what do we understand by gender-based violence? Because we're all muted, I want to believe you're hearing me. So if you have any concern and you want to respond, please use the chat box, and my eyes will be going to and fro the chat box so that I can, be responding as we go on. So what are gender-based violence? Gender-based violence. Okay, if I ask what are violence in the first place, we can all describe it in a very simple term. It's a kind of hurt, distress, pains that have been caused to anyone. We gender because we're talking of biological sex now. When I say gender-based violence, I'm not talking of violence against women now. I'm talking of violence against persons. You understand? So what are gender-based violence? So it's violence that is, it's pain, injury, or whatever that has been caused to one individual. It could be psychological, it could be physical, it could be emotional. Things that cause the kind of pains, discomfort, serious pains to the extreme and discomfort. So peculiarities with women with disabilities. And when we talk about gender-based violence, and we're talking of violence against women, most times we use the word as in, oh, women and girls with disability are worse hit. So that is a peculiarity. That's something I want you to put your mind to. It's a peculiarity. Women and girls with disability are worse hit. So why are we worse hit? How come it's so magnified? We will say, oh, whatever any woman experiences in terms of violence is nothing compared to what women and girls with disabilities experience. So why are we talking in that way? So I'm already teasing out the peculiarity, as it were. So why is it that we are worse hit? Why is it that we are always suffering 3 times, 5 times than non-disabled women? And how are we around that? So that again is why I started with Disability 101, situating our discourse within the kind of issues around disability and all of that, because we can't be discussing going forward without making references to those issues that I brought earlier on. So I ask, why are women and girls with disabilities what's hit when it comes to gender-based violence or when it comes to violence against women? then your answer will be, because we have a disability. Okay, fine. Because we have a disability, or because we experience impairment. Could that just be the reason why we are usually worse hit? I want to be sure. I see that the French language is, the interpreter is frozen. So I just wanted to be sure everybody's hearing me. If you can hear me, please. Okay, I think it's been unfrozen now. I
I
can
think
see.
it's a
Okay, I
network.
wanted to be sure that we're on the same page. So I was saying, why would we say, women and girls? Okay. Can you hear me, sign language interpreter? So you use your hand to indicate so that I know. Can you hear me? Fine, great. So now we are, yes, I can. Okay, fine. So I was asking, we keep making references to, women and girls with disability are worse hit. And I said, why? It was okay, because we have a disability. So the level of violence that we experience is much more higher than disabled women. Okay, so why are we experiencing that? Why? The why we continue. It's like peeling the onion or unpacking the problem tree. So why? We'll say, because we have impairment. So why? Why is it because because we have impairment, we have to experience a high level of violence? We'll now be say, what kind of impairment, and how is, that impacting on us? So we now move to, because we have impairment. It's not just enough because you have an impairment, that is why you should experience more violence. Then we'll say again, why? Then that might take us again to ask, okay, because we have impairment, we experience barriers. So how are those barriers? Want to blow grammar, but because you want a change, and if you're working towards bringing about a change, you must be able to get your messages right. So the peculiarity in the gender-based violence for women and girls with disability is just simply all that I've told you now. Because we live with a disability, because we have impairment, because those who have impairment experience certain levels of barriers, and the barrier is what is contributing to the amount of violence that we face. I'll give you one example of the barrier would have contributed expressly to the kind of violence that we face. One, remember the barriers that we named yesterday, if you recall. I told us that we have like 4 levels of barriers. I talked about institutional barriers. I talked about social and cultural barriers. I talked about environmental barriers. And I didn't mention attitudinal barriers. Those are the mixed kind of barriers. So let's even take one of those barriers and narrow down our discourse. For example, you face attitudinal barrier. That could really lead to high level of gender-based violence. What kind of attitude? Displeasure. Naturally, people with disabilities are being discriminated against because of the displeasure and the way they contextualize disability issue within the cultural and traditional settings in our practices. For instance, some culture will say, person with a disability are bad women, or they are cursed, or they want other. And because of that kind of aspersion, people begin to treat you differently because they see you as a minus or as a curse. And that brings about displeasure. And so you would see women with disabilities, or people with children with disability are being taunted. You see, kids taunt them, or other women will taunt them. Oh, look at the way your eyes is. Oh, look at, and there's a withdrawal, the displeasure. You're already experiencing some level of violence. And what kind of violence would that be? Of course, that is not physical, it's emotional. Emotional violence. That's it. It can even degenerate to people throwing stones at you. You see women with mental health issues, they are going gently on their own, and children pick stones and begin to throw at them. Hey, we're a witch, this. They cast all kind of rubbish. What kind of, is it because they have a disability, they experience high level of violence and people are giving them physical abuse? That will not happen with a woman without a disability. A woman who does not have a clear mental health issue will walk past, and nobody will throw aspersion or cast phone or use all kinds of derogatory language on her. No. Have you seen the peculiarity Can you differentiate differences and how this applies? I take another example again, the same a woman with mental health issue and even with physical disability or what kind of disability, they experience double amount of sexual violence. All these people we call mad women on the street, who gets them pregnant, who sleeps with them, who takes advantage of them. They are not disabled men. Do not be deceived. I'm not saying that men with mental health issues cannot have emotional feelings towards women with mental health issues. I'm not saying that is not possible. That we in 2001, I did a research with Honorable Abike Dabiri in Lagos. Then she was anchoring Newsline. We were doing a research to can't tell. Meanwhile, nobody will take advantage of a non-disabled woman who do not have a mental health issue. It's the same thing with physical disability. It's the same thing with deaf. Deaf women are grossly sexually abused. You see, because most time women with disabilities, a lot of them experience some high level of loneliness. I mean, the women, they have feelings, they have emotional feelings, they have feelings for intimate relationship and partnership, but maybe it's not for. In those days when we're talking of HIV and AIDS, and there were so many funny traditional cultural beliefs around HIV and AIDS and the rest. And it was what they call virgin cleansing. Virgin cleansing. What was it then? And women with disability were what's hit in the rape. There were these rape cases, so they believe if they rape a virgin, it will get rid of the virus. So they started targeting women and girls with disabilities because they were presumed asexual. They were presumed, oh, they're not they are not as rough as non-disabled women, or they're not as nobody talks to them, or they're not sexual, so they were presumed virgins. They suffered the most because people were targeting them, raping them, all kinds of abuses. You see, specific. I'm not talking of men with disabilities. Now remember, I'm talking of how this peculiarity affects women and girls with disabilities. Did you get the peculiarity? So it's not a matter of, like I said, it's not going to be an issue where we speak too much grammar, but getting to the root of the matter, having a deep sense of understanding of what the issues are and how to address the issues. Now that we have, because if I keep going on and on and on, this class can take like 2 hours, but I know I have like less than 5 minutes to go for my section now. But I want to believe at this point in time, you have understood clearly what the issues are, what the peculiarities are, how it is different, how we experience different levels of violence, how the violence, gender-based violence experienced by women and girls with disability is different from what women without disabilities face. Now that you know, what are you going to do with this information? We now know. We've given examples. You have seen how our impairment has led to greater risks of experiencing violence. We have seen how the impairment interacts with the barriers, is producing even greater risks of amount of violence that women and girls experience. Now that we know this, what are we going to do? We will just keep doing. So it is now time for you to take it in and begin to design a program for change. You are getting all this information because you need to drive the change that we want to see. So if we had said we experience this level of violence because this is happening, the diversity, the impairment, the interaction, based on what we said yesterday, it's very clear. I don't want to keep repeating myself. I guess you got me right. Now, what are you going to do going forward? How do you now translate this information into actionable plan that will drive advocacy to bring about the change that you're looking forward to? How do you at this point in time? So now that we know, we can't fold our hands, we need advocacy, and we need to be protected. So it talks about protective skills, personal protective skills. If you're a deaf person and you know if a rapist comes into your home, you can't shout now. Where is the voice? You don't have the voice to shout. What will you do to protect yourself should you have a rapist come into the house and want to take advantage of you? You are blind. He comes. You won't see him. He knows you are blind. Access to justice is very difficult for women and girls with disability in terms of rape, especially the blind. Now a rapist takes advantage of a blind girl, raped her. How will she point to the judge or anybody in the court to say, hey, this was the person that raped me? So that again is going to make it difficult for us to access justice. So what do we do? What do we? I don't have the answer. I don't have the answer. It's like a takeaway task now. What do we do? How do we now work collectively to protect ourselves against all this violence and abuses that I've talked about? And how do we, put it in advocacy form for us to drive this issue? First of all, before we start doing advocacy, we need to protect ourselves. What do we need to do? This is a puzzle, and I do not expect, everyone to start, because our opener is going to be a little bit right, but I'm going to round up in the next 2 minutes. I want to be sure that we get very clearly the perspective. We have done a lot of comparative analysis here, showing us like a template, showing us what disabled women and non-disabled women we face in terms of abuse and violence, and what brings about the level of violence, what amplifies the level of violence for women and girls with disability, and how that is not so for non-disabled women. And now, considering our diversity and the kind of impairment that we'll be facing, a lot of physical abuses or physical violence, emotional abuses and emotional violence, sexual violence, which is the most common of them all. Considering all of this that we are facing, what do we do going forward? So I'm going to stop. The host, you might need to please just unmute everyone for like a minute. Let me just hear one or two comments, then I will round off.
Okay. So about three persons already raised their hand for comment. So
okay.
Hawa Ahmed, we're going to have Hawa Ahmed first. Hawa Ahmed, please, your comment. Hawa Ahmed Boyo Uluwamayowa, and a user with ITEL 833.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Hello, good morning. Please, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay, so my name is Boyolo Amaiwa, and I want to make a comment and suggest something based on what you have said, ma. So, if now we're talking about how deaf people can go through violence, they might not, if they won't even be able to talk or scream or anything. So, when at the beginning of this whole COVID-19, many people were talking about rape cases on Twitter. And somebody said something that is high time as women we start going for defense classes. That's like kickball and all those things, to learn how to defend ourselves against things like this. Hello?
I can hear you. The strategy you're talking.
So we need to start going for classes like this. And it would be very good if like we can get people to like arrange for women with disability, because we can't go for the normal classes that other people go for. We need special attention for classes like that. Also, when we were talking about the research you did with Mrs. Abike Dabiri on who sleep with these people on the road, I would also want to add that sometimes even religion contributes to the violence persons with disability go through. Because those mad people on the road, it is one herbalist that told them sleep with a mad woman and you have money, or do this to a deaf person, or go and kidnap a handicapped child they just gave birth, things like that that they say. And it's very sad because these people are vulnerable to things like this. Also, we can create a home the way abroad and some part of Nigeria we have old people home where these people within adult education and specialize in taking care of old people stay. So we can do a home too for elderly persons with disability, or women with disability that don't have a secured home. So it's like creating a safe space for them to stay in instead of just roaming around the road without empowerment or anything. And also for the
Um,
gender based.
okay, Maya, I would want you
Hello.
to sum up your thoughts. I would want you to sum up your thoughts in a few seconds so we can take as much feedback as possible before I try to leave.
Yes. This is the last thing I'll say. So for the gender based violence, some people are actually aggressive now because they are frustrated. So if we can create an empowerment program for women with disabilities, so they are all bringing something to the table. The burden is not only on their partner, on their family member. So I think that will also go a long way. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you so much, Maya. Madam Ekaite, we have few more comments. Awa Hamed, can we have your comment? Awa Ahmed. Abdullah Salamatu. Okay, so your hands were raised. Hawa Ahmed, the user with item 833, and Abdullah Salamatu. You can make your comment. Mad, there are some comments in the chat box. I don't know if you would want to read them or I should go ahead to read them.
Okay, so
Madam Ekaite, okay, ma.
okay then. So the last speaker, please. Can you see your name again? What was her name? What's her name?
Boye Oluwamayowa from Lagos.
Mayowa, thank you so much for those very wonderful comments. I mean, you are very right. And that was why I said in my opening remark that as people with impairment, we face barriers. And I named those barriers. And I named one of those was cultural and social barriers. You understand? And you can situate this religious thing within one of those barriers. So it's very true and very pathetic. In fact, that research was in 2001, was 1998 or 99. Now I remember. Either 98 or 99, wasn't 2001. So 1999. Anyways, around. So that's true. Who sleeps with them? Who do, the negative these cultural practices has made us even much more vulnerable. So everyone is like, oh, so that's for another day. And I want to agree with you. But again, we're not going to be creating institutions because we want to take disabled women off the street. We belong to the society, and society we should remain. Because currently what we're doing, we are pulling down all forms of institutions that will bring about segregation. However, I want to agree with you that it could be forms of shelter. And shelter is just temporary, relief that will just take you off, rehabilitate, and you go back to the society. It's not like a permanent resident. And I'm also glad to let you know that at Party Disability Plus, we are already having a safe space and a safe center where this kind of very passionate issues can be discussed. And very soon you'll hear about it. And it's with funding from Urgent Action Fund, we've created that spaces where women with disabilities can come in, especially those that have been sexually abused, to tell us what it is, and they are protected, and we drive social justice, going forward. So access to justice is one thing. But when you say all of this and you don't have a kind of a healing platform where you can totally heal out and ease all the horrible content out of your system, it could be very, very difficult. And you know, the scar, psychosocial trauma that we go through in our daily lives, that we even have an impairment, is enough psychosocial trauma. Then you having extra violence on top of it. It's not something in this time we allow us to keep pushing. So for your takeaway, please, I want to get the assignment submitted maybe like tomorrow. Create a template, name the kind of violence, go to the next column, talk of the action, go to the next column, who is responsible, and to the next column, when will it happen? Those kind of, I want to say a concrete step as to how you will address this level of violence. Mayowa was just saying, okay, religious, but she was even trying to say, okay, she's been giving strategies or step of how she wants to address us. Let's take it. And according to impairment type, because that physical kickboxing, the deaf can do. Who does kickboxing on a wheelchair? I don't know how easy it will be. So there are going to be adaptive kind of strategies on how to protect ourselves. And kickboxing, the blind, you know, when you see the person you kickbox, so there could be other strategy on how to deal with the abusers, at least some form of defense before help comes or something like that. So I want to believe that I've been able to pass the message and we'll be able to understand clearly today the peculiarities of the kind of gender-based violence that women and girls with disability go through. And we need to every time take our minds back to what the barriers are. How do we deal with the barriers? So, and I hope that this is well taken. I'm very much available, although I am rushing this morning to try to say I can do one or two things. I have other meetings and other training elsewhere. That's why I came up a little bit early. Please drop your questions, your comments, any concern you have through the organizers, and definitely to get to me if there's any other thing you want to talk about. And if they are very, very intimate things, I mean, real intimate, that's so burning, that you think you need some form of, at least level of healing, especially psychosocial healing, do let us know. We could arrange for that, for us to take this forward. So at this point in time, I want to thank you very much for your attention, and do have a great day ahead. So bye for now.
Yeah, thank you so much, Madam Ekaite. Mommy in the house, the national president. We really do appreciate you. Thank you so much for your time. And I believe everyone would agree that they've learned one or two things. And before I proceed to the next item on the agenda for today, I would want us to drop our WhatsApp contact at the chat box so that for follow up, because this engagement is not just going to end now. We still have other phases to this whole program. So we're going to be talking more, engage more via WhatsApp group. So I would need us to drop our WhatsApp contact by the chat box so that everybody can be added to the group and we can proceed. And if you have any queries or any questions, we can then take it from there. So let's also take note of the task that Madam Ekaite has given us. So we'll finish up with that on the WhatsApp group. We'll finish up with the task on the WhatsApp group. So we're going to continue with the next presentation. And it is by Dr. Adebayo. It is on the realities of humanitarian situation in Nigeria and the need for more inclusion, more visible inclusion of women with disabilities in response and support strategies. He was able to lay a foundation to this yesterday, and he talked about the realities of humanitarian issues across the country, and he was able to give us some assignments to work with. So let me unmute Dr. Adebayo right now so we can proceed. And I hope we're all ready with the feedback of the assignment you gave to us yesterday. Dr. Adebayo.
Okay, so good afternoon, good morning now.
Good morning, sir.
Okay. Thank you. Yesterday we stopped at discussing the issues around inclusion of women with disabilities in humanitarian programs. And ordinarily, if this were to be a face-to-face training, we would have made it more interactive. because you see, this part of the training is such that it requires us to share experience. Um, we cannot just put everything on theory and lecture alone. So
Absolutely.
if you recall that yesterday we asked us to do some short assignments. Um, we expect that you will have written those assignments, and or if you didn't write it, I think important that we share that assignment. Now, I'm going to take one person from each zone because we may not be able to go around the 37 states of the country.
Okay.
We would like to take at least from specific zones where we know that we've had serious humanitarian issues. So we will take from BONews State. I hope there's someone from BONews. Hi, Ramatu, are you there?
Okay.
Let's
Let me.
check check the participants on the last one. Ramatu
Ramatu
from,
Hamad. Yes.
is she there?
Yes, she's here. Ramatu Hamad.
I hope we'll be able to connect with her. Is Kenny Amazing from Plateau State? Is she there? I heard. I think she
Yes.
just
Hello?
Okay, let me just unmute.
no, don't unmute them yet. I just want to be sure they are there.
Okay, yes.
It's Bola Tito from Oshun. Bola Tito, are you there?
No, Bala is not here yet. She was
It's
here,
not
she left.
okay. What about who is around from Kano?
No.
Okay, we're looking at somebody from Kano, from Borno.
Sister Eva, good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Hello. It's
Good
Bukitu
morning.
from Kano. Hello, Mr.
Good morning.
Okay, don't worry. When it's time for you to talk, you'll be able to make your comment.
Yeah.
I hope
I'm not from
Ramatu is from Adamawa, right?
Kaduna.
No, Ramatu. What's her
Hamad.
name?
Ramatu Hamad.
No, I am from Kaduna State. Kaduna State. Ramatu Ahmed is from Kaduna State.
This is my friend from the northeast.
Hello?
Okay, I want one from the northeast, either Borno or Adamawa.
That should be Salamatu. Salamatu Abdullah. She's from Adamawa.
Okay, she's
Okay,
there, right?
I think when it's time, people can just give their feedback. We will be able to correlate the
But
name.
we can't take so much. You know, we want to take specific ones. So it's what's the name of this lady from Elsa?
Sorry.
Is Tari there?
Yeah.
Delta, is Tari there?
Tari is there.
Okay. So we will take feedbacks from at least one from each of the geopolitical zones. I think Blessing have posted the questions again, and we want us to be attentive. First is that apart from COVID-19, what kind of humanitarian challenges, whether violent conflicts or have there been any kind of health challenge, maybe the time of Ebola or Lassa fever, any of those kind of challenges, have we faced any such challenge before in our state? Can we remember if there was any direct impact on women with disabilities, and then are we involved in the solution in the solution that was provided to that problem? So I'm throwing the ball back to you after all that we discussed yesterday. So can we have from let's start from the northeast, from Adamawa. So let's share your experience from the northeast, from Adamawa. Let's unmute the participant from Adamawa.
Okay, the participant from Mazawa is Awa Ahmed. Okay, she's unmuted already. You can have a comment.
Okay, sir. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everybody.
Very happy to meet you.
Your name, please.
Sir, talking about apart from COVID-19, we are having issue of gender-based violence, sir. And the issue is that, like what the first presenter has said on that the deaf women are grossly sexually abused. So I had one issue with the deaf woman who was happened to be impregnated by one man. So my attention was caught on the issue. So I was trying to make sure that the man who impregnated that woman should have responsible. So when we try to take the matter to the court, then he denied it by saying that he's not the only person that is having sex with that woman, and as a result, that guy go free. So this is one of the issue having in Adamawa, that is gender-based violence against persons with disability.
Okay, that's good. But how has the insurgency, Boko Haram issues, how has it affected women with disabilities in the northeast?
Yes, insurgency affect, as a person living with disability, if you are physically challenged, if that things happens, you cannot be able to run. Likewise, a deaf cannot hear what is happening. So it's seriously affected us, and without that is exactly what is happening. So person living with disability affected seriously on that issue.
Okay, but how about the policy, any program of government? Is there any program of government specifically targeting people with disabilities and women with disabilities on this matter?
The only policy is that the former governor assented to our law, that is disability law, but up till now there was no implementation. So that's the only policy I think we have in Adamawa.
Thank you very much, Madam Our State. Very, very clear
Okay.
and succinct. We really appreciate this intervention. And I think that we understand what the problem is now. There is a law in Adamawa that is not being
but no implementation. Yes.
And that women with disabilities are affected by gender-based and sexual violence in that area. And this is something that we must pay attention to as a community of women with disabilities in Nigeria. So thank you very much. Let's go to South. My friend Tari is there. Niger Delta. I'm sure she's not a militant. Let's hear from Tari.
Okay. So I can unmute her.
Let's hear from Tari what the experience is like for women with disabilities in Niger Delta. They say it's a volatile place. I don't know. How volatile is it for our women?
Okay. I'm finding it. Okay. So Tari, can we have you, please? Hello. Hello, Tari. Okay, doctor, can you get another region? Since Tari is not ready for us. Hello.
Hello, is anyone in Kano? Is there anyone in Kano that's really share experience with us?
Okay, someone from Kano posted a comment via the chat box. Um,
Any of
can I
our
read
women
that
from
out?
Kano?
Can I read that out,
Okay.
Doctor?
Hello, I'm from
Okay.
Kano.
Okay,
Oh,
okay, please go
that's
ahead.
a man. That's a man's voice.
Yes,
We
I
are talking.
represent our women because they cannot speak in English. That's why I'm
Oh,
representing
okay, you
my
are an
cluster.
interpreter. You are an interpreter, right?
I'm not an interpreter. I'm representing the spinal cord injury.
No, we want our
Like,
women, please. We
My women
appreciate.
cannot speak English.
Are they with you there? Are they with you there?
Yes, there are some with me here.
Okay, and they are listening to us.
Yes, I have to translate. I have to
Okay,
translate them.
you are the translator, right? Are you the translator?
No, excuse me,
I have
Bilkis is from Kano.
to
She
Hausa
speaks
English.
English. Bilkis who speaks
There is another one from Kano.
Where is
Bisu is
Bikisu
here.
now?
Bilkis who speaks English.
Where is she?
She speaks good English. She has name.
okay, it's okay. We don't have to
Bisu
be
is
rowdy
here.
about this. Let's just
Where is
Mr.
Bikisu? Who's
Adebayo.
there?
Hello.
Hello.
I'm here. I'm here, sir.
Okay, please speak for us now.
Sorry.
You didn't.
Okay, I'm sorry. My network went off a bit, so I had to like reconnect. Hello.
Please,
Apart from
go ahead, please.
hello.
Go ahead.
Okay, apart from the issue of the COVID-19 in Kano, we had the issue of also rape, which is in the increase, and also we have issue of kidnapping. Actually, a committee on inquiry was set up by His Excellency, the Governor of Kano State, to inquire on the missing, I think, 11 children. Before it was 9, and later it became 11. And then they've even given their report to His Excellency. Recently, it was broadcasted that he read the report and appreciated it. And then we had incessant deaths during the COVID, and also a committee was set up by the state governor on the issue, and also a report has been compiled by a committee on the issue too. So these are some of the things that we had apart from
Okay,
the
let me
COVID.
ask on all of this, how has it affected our women with disabilities? Are there evidence, are there cases of impact on women with disabilities?
Actually, what I would say is, since it's not as if we had conducted a research, but definitely the issue of some of this has actually affected their lives. Because, for example, the issue of the lockdown has moved a lot of people from being poor to going that the poverty level has gone higher than normal. And then a lot of people are staying at home, and some reported cases of sexual and gender-based violence in some of the cases that we have been intervening on, even though it's not too much on people with our women.
Okay, how involved are women with disabilities in the planning and implementation of of humanitarian programs, including the one on
Actually,
COVID-19 in Kano State?
for us, actually, we had a challenge, and we weren't really actually fully represented in all these things. And there was actually an outcry, because personally, as a media person, I had to bring a member from the community to talk on air about the challenges that we're having. They were not part of the committees that were set up. And apart from that, we were just hearing people, some people, and in fact, even people in the town were complaining that they weren't getting the palliatives. So talk less more of people with disabilities. When the governor had just recently um, gotten into office, one of our physically challenged member, just less than a month ago. So I think that is only the good step that we have gotten so far in the challenges that we have been having. But
Oh,
representation in the committees that were set up, there's none for people with disabilities
is there any
in the
giant
state government.
stride? Is there any giant stride that, any giant stride that women with disabilities in Kano would like to share with other women? Maybe one good practice that something you have done that you would want other women to emulate.
Okay, actually, what we have done, especially me, was when we went for a media party in states. I discussed about the issue of our disability bill. Our disability bill was signed in 2019, and up to now, the implementation process has been very slow. And we asked the governor on the issue of SGBV, that's sexual and gender based, especially rape and the disability bill, and I'll share it with you. He gave us a response that on sexual and gender based violence, especially the issue of rape, that the Kano State House of Assembly is working on a law and looking at other existing laws in the state to come up with a law that will be used in the state on perpetrators of such acts. And the disability bill also, he said the state House of Assembly is looking at the bill because it has some gaps that needs to be filled. So they are working on it, and he has assured us that once the House of Assembly is through with it, the implementation process will definitely go. I'll send you the audio, sir.
Is there a gender input into this bill? Is there something for women
Yes.
in the bill?
Well, we have to wait to see. We'll have to wait to see what the House of Assembly would present to us after. We'll have to
Thank
see
you.
what the Assembly will send to us as a final draft.
Thank you very much, Ajia Bikisu from Kano.
Yeah,
I'm sure
welcome,
we've learned
sir.
one or two things from Kano. It's a great opportunity for women in the country to gather together like this and learn from one another. Let's come back to the south. Is Tari still on the line?
Mini?
Is Tari on the line from
Now,
Bayelsa?
Okay, we have one called time
Okay,
setter from
is
Anambra.
equal from Cross River. Are you there? Hello, Blessing.
I'm here with you, sir.
Is equal? Can you check if equal from?
Not yet. But we have someone from Anambra who is ready for us.
Cross
Hello?
River? Is equal from? Oh, okay, we are not getting any
Because
feedback from south.
usually, there are some participants that attended here with the name of their device, not their personal name. So I'm unable to check
Okay,
both of those persons. So I'm saying
okay,
I have someone here from Anambra. Wow,
okay.
Chaka.
Yes, I remember my friend from Anambra State. Is she online?
Yes, she is. Wow,
Can
Kocha,
she?
please
Can she?
pardon the pronunciation.
You want to speak from Anambra State?
Yes. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, madam. How are you?
I'm fine, sir. And you?
We're great. Tell us what major humanitarian crisis is going on in Anambra State, apart from
Thank you, sir.
COVID-19.
Apart from COVID-19, I think what we are suffering in Anambra is rape, as one of my colleagues has says, and these IDP people, internally displaced people, those in riverine areas where they normally has flood whenever there is a lot of rain. These are two material issues we are having in Anambra.
Okay, quickly, what is government doing? Is there any government program in place to support these people?
Yes, in talk of those people raped, and more of them are usually the deaf people. You know, people that do take undue advantage of them because of their inability to hear or to know when danger is coming around them. So I think LOLAC, rule of law and anti-corruption, in collaboration with the Anambra State government, established Ntasi Center. Ntasi means consolation. Ntasi is an Igbo word, and it means consolation. That is in form of sexual assault referral center. So that is the name of the center. They established it in Anambra, and they have free doctors and free lawyers that usually intervene on behalf of our deaf people or any other people that is being raped there. So in
That's
case
good.
of internally
Okay, go on.
in case of internally displaced people, JONAPID as an organization, we are doing our best. Although government don't have, the government is not doing enough in that regards. But JONAPID as an organization, we are doing our best in Anambra. We make sure that we collect all the data of our members that are involved in this flood issue, and we wrote on their behalf to appropriate authorities, either philanthropists and or government. Sometimes government they will turn deaf ear on our request, but we make sure that we collected their data and wrote on their behalf to the government or spiritual individual.
Thank you very much. But how involved are women with disabilities in the planning and implementing of these programs by government, by ROLAC? How actively involved are we in planning?
Out of Intercity Center, Convention Center, I think JONAPID is actually actively involved, because I, as a person, I'm involved in the plan. When we have we are in the committee that planned it. Me and JONAPID chairman in Anambra State, we are in the committee that oversee the implementation of VAP law in Anambra State. And through the committees, we are able to chip in our input in the establishment of this Intercity Center.
Okay, but tell us what good practice do you want to share with other women for them to learn from Anambra State?
Hello, come again, sir. Hello, I can hear you, sir.
I said, what good practice do you want other women to learn from you from Anambra State?
Well, the good practice there is that we usually come together as a person. We work together in collaboration with JONAPID. Women, we have our women meetings. We created our women WhatsApp group where we use to normally pass information to our women in times of anything, any issue that arises. You know, since this COVID-19, we have not been able to be coming together as a person because of the ban of meetings and gatherings in the state. But we created WhatsApp group for the women in Anambra State. That is where we share information and gather information in anything that we want to talk about.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, my friend. Tell me your name again, please.
I am Ncheta.
Ncheta, okay. Thank you very much for enlightening us.
Okay, we have Ikwo with us already. Yeah.
Okay, let me go back to the north. Is Mazim online from North Central?
I'm online, doctor.
Mazim, my friend. Let's
Yes,
hear from
Everybody's your friend, doctor.
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, doctor.
Welcome. So tell us what's happening in Plateau State. We hear a lot of banditry attacks. How is it affecting women with disabilities?
Though in Plateau State, we have forceful marriage in Plateau State. Sometimes you see parents, if they have a child, maybe a female disabled, what they do is that they can just force you to marry an old man without her consent. So we have such complaints.
Unfortunately, workshop online now.
And
yes, go ahead, please. Go ahead.
Okay. So when we heard about it, we had to invite the community leaders, youth leaders to come for a workshop, awareness workshop. So we did that.
Hello, Messi, are you there? Hello, Mizim, are you there?
At least it has reduced. It
Mizim,
has
are you
reduced.
there?
Even some of the disabled children that were forced, they will have to run to us. But this is what their parents want them to do, to marry. So that
Okay,
time,
quickly tell us what you women with disabilities have done in the two states to stop this problem.
we have our meetings. We do have our meetings too, at least to enlighten us about peaceful marriages. And
Is government doing anything about this?
yes, because we have a lawyer in the court, in the commission, which main purpose is for this.
You have a disability commission in Plateau State, right?
Yes, we have a disability commission and we have our legal unit too in the commission. Yes.
Thank you very much, Mazim. Thank you. It's been pleasant speaking with you. Listen, can we hear from Cross Rivers now?
Equal, yes. Equal, can we have you, please?
Is the call there?
She's yes.
Equal, go ahead. Okay.
She actually sent me a message and she's online. Okay, maybe we can proceed without her.
Hello.
Okay.
Excuse me, Dr. Adaboye.
Who am I speaking with?
This from my number. Please, there's a of background noise.
Okay, we will take care of that.
Please.
Okay, is the call there? Can you call here?
Yes, sir. Good afternoon.
Okay, go ahead, please. Go ahead.
Here in Cross River State, women with disabilities, we are trying to tackle gender-based violence and how to protect our women. We have been going through series of training on gender-based violence. On the 9th of June, women with disabilities in Cross River, in partnership with Neighborhood Care Well Foundation and other women groups, we were on the road on a rally and rape against women and girls living with disabilities and other girls, because we realized that there had been an increase on the number of rape cases in the state, especially where babies who do not know anything have been raped, and then children under the age of 4. So we had to go on the street to do a peaceful demonstration to end rape cases, in which we visited the Commissioner of Police, Cross River State.
Okay, what is government doing about this? What is government doing?
When we visited the Ministry of Women Affairs, the Commissioner of Women Affairs, during the day of the protest, had said they are going to implement the VAP law in the state. As at yesterday, when we were in a workshop, we were told that the state has passed the VAP law, the VAP Act, which we are yet to get a copy to really see if they have really implemented it.
Okay, can I ask you, is there a role that women with disabilities have done in the making of this law or in implementing any of those policies?
No, I should say, because during the implementation of this law, or when this law is being put in place, I do not think that women with disabilities are being involved in the team. It's just maybe other NGOs who are fighting on this, and the government personnel are the ones working on the VAP law.
Okay. Thank you very much. It was nice speaking with you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Lastly, we are coming to Lagos. Mayo, are you there? Are you there?
Okay, I just had to mute everyone because of the background noise. So I'm going to unmute. I've unmuted Mayowa and Dr. Adebayo so they can have the floor.
Hello, Mayowa. Can you speak and tell us about Lagos?
Hello, good morning once again. Oh, good afternoon.
Okay, good afternoon, Mayowa. How are you?
Hello, good afternoon.
Can you hear me, Mayowa? Can you hear me? Hello, Mayowa. Can you
Yes,
hear
I
me?
can hear you, sir.
Okay, tell us, what is the situation like in Lagos apart from COVID-19? Are there any humanitarian crises that
Yes, I
women
can
with
hear.
disabilities?
Hello.
I said, are there any humanitarian crises in Lagos that women with disabilities are facing apart from COVID-19?
Yes, there is, because you talking on the frustration you are going through, because nowadays they don't really have means of income because the economy itself is even low for now, and some of them are just at home without any means of income, on palliatives that could not even get to them, and also some of them are going through issues of rape, although they are unable to really speak out, because for now we have people who, like, we have NGOs that advocate for things like this, but this is there. Some of them are not really like outspoken on their issues, but they are most issues we are going through here in Lagos, because thank God NGOs are in place, and we have I have the policy as the state are really trying for persons with disability here in Lagos, but the issue of rape and violence is still ongoing.
Okay, Mayowa, I know that you have a disability law in Lagos and you have an agency. How is that agency responding to these issues you have told us? Mayowa, can you hear me? Hello, blessing.
Yeah, I can hear you. Mayowa is still very much online.
Mayowa doesn't seem to be able to.
Okay, Mayowa.
Mayowa is not able to hear me anymore.
Hello, sir.
Okay,
Okay, I said that you have LASODA and disability law. How are all of these helping to resolve the problems you have highlighted?
yeah, I can hear you, sir. She sent a message that she can't hear you. I guess it could be as a network problem.
Okay. Well, let me just round up. I think that's
Doctor, we could barely hear you, sir.
okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes, more audible.
Can you hear me better now?
Yes, much better.
Okay, let me just round up this session by saying that if we refer to my presentation yesterday, you will realize that we have highlighted some of these issues. We have highlighted some of these issues about the various forms of humanitarian challenges that women with disabilities are facing in various parts of the country, ranging from insurgency to banditry to kidnapping and all sorts. Then, of course, we also talked about health issues. HIV/AIDS is there. Um, issues of Lassa fever, issues of Ebola was there. Now we are facing COVID-19. So, and of course, we have also today from across the country, from Adamawa, Kano, the two states. In Plateau, we heard about forced marriage. In Adamawa, we heard about rape and other sexual violence. In Lagos, we talked about the economy, people people losing their livelihoods due to COVID-19. And we've also been told how women with this are getting involved. I think that's where I want to end my discussion, getting the issues around the need for us to get involved in the various interventions. Now, I will give us one or two strategies that we can use. One is that we don't have to wait for government to call us. We need to advocate, we need to stand up and advocate for our rights as women with disabilities. We need to identify the stakeholders, the government agencies are responsible for the issues of disability, or issues of women, or issues of humanitarian crisis. We need to identify the relevant agencies. We need to identify other NGOs, women NGOs that are engaging on issues of women generally. We need to identify CSOs and NGOs that are working in this area. We need to liaise with the media. Okay, BONews is a media platform, for example. So you can be sure that all of these things you are saying is going to get to the media as soon as possible. So we need to identify all these stakeholders. We need to identify men with and without disabilities that can also partner with us to advocate on this issue, such that we can get involved. So we don't need to wait for government to invite us. We engage, go directly to government agencies and engage with them. While we are going, we should have our position paper written. Okay, the letter, or you call it a letter, on what we want. Let's itemize our issue in very straightforward language. Let's present them to government and to the relevant agencies for us to be able to really, for those stakeholders to really engage on those issues with us. So these are some of the things. But first and foremost, like I said yesterday, we must come together to have one voice. We must bring all the women in our states together so that we can have one voice to engage with government. It's not good for us to go splinter groups. Okay, we must bring all the women together, and that's the assignment we are giving us while we are going back to our states. We want us to go back to our states to bring the women together, for those of us who have not done so, and so we can have one voice and come up with a position paper that we are going to present to the government, and this will help government to know what we want, and they can then respond to those issues. So in conclusion, and of course finally now, this program is going to run for quite a while, and so we will be engaging with you on some of these issues. We want you, as you leave for this after today, to go back and put some of the experiences you have shared document them, okay, and share with BO News, because we are still going to have a meeting with the Honorable Minister for Women Affairs. We are going to have meetings with Honorable Minister of Humanitarian Affairs. We are going to have meetings with Honorable Minister of Health. And you will be expected to make all these presentations, to share all these experiences with them, so that as a federal government, they will then know what to do and how to engage with you on resolving some of the challenges you will be presenting to them. So let it not end there. Bring your colleagues together, one. Two, put your position paper together. Three, let it contain the experiences you have shared today. And so when the time comes and you have the opportunity to speak directly to these ministers or people in government, you'll be able to present it to them as a community of women with disabilities in Nigeria. The conversation will continue. I think BO News will have to create a WhatsApp for these great women, like I call you people, and then we can continue our conversation on these issues and firm up our ideas on how we are going to engage with women and present our issues to them. So on that note, I will say thank you very much. If there are questions, listen, you can put them in the chat box, and then I can respond to them later after the last presentation. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Doctor. We really appreciate you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. We can't thank you enough. And I would want to mention all the things we're told to just reach out to our colleagues in our respective states. What are those issues? They are just the things you've mentioned here. Sound hearing the word position paper doesn't mean it's just something so bogus, something very big. It's just those things that we go through, our experiences. We can just drop them as a chat once we create the WhatsApp platform so we can be able to discuss further. So that's why I asked all of us to please let's drop our WhatsApp number so that we can be able to create a WhatsApp group for us to engage further. This is not the end. This is just the beginning. This is just like laying the foundation. So we are going to be dealing with all these 37 persons, like in 36 states plus FCT. So you are the one that will be dealing with as network of women across, or women with disabilities across Nigeria. So please, at the chat box, do drop your number, WhatsApp number specifically, so we can be able to add you to the group. So we will take a break, and the break we are taking is just to be able to talk about housekeeping issues, sort out if we have any issues with attendance, any issue with the payment form. So before we take the last speaker for today. So I realized that not everybody has filled the attendance form for yesterday. And I've also shared the link to the attendance register for today. So we need to fill the attendance register. We can use the break that we have to fill that. It doesn't cost anything. It's just a link to a Google form to be able to fill that. As well as the payment form. Those who attended the meeting yesterday, we're going to pay you for the data reimbursement for the 2-day meeting. So for yesterday and today. So once you fill the payment form yesterday, you shouldn't fill it for today again. We'll be able to use the attendance to understand that, oh, you attended the 2 days, or you attended just 1 day. So we'll be able to use that. So that's why the attendance is quite important. So let's ensure we do this. And if you have any difficulty, if you have any question, you can reach out to my colleague Omolara. You can also reach out to me, Blessing. And if you need to talk we also have Melanie, our colleague, she's also online. Just reach out to anybody. I'm very sure you have our contact so far. So if you have anybody with any question, I'm trying to unmute everybody right now so that if you have any question, we can just take it. We can just have it before we have our last presentation for today. Anybody with any comments or any questions? Any question? And I also want to appreciate, I would want to appreciate the members of the press that are taking time to be at this meeting today, and each and every one of us who are great participants also for being here. We appreciate you. We understand that. And to even for your To your amazement, you'll notice that we have even more than 37 persons participating in this meeting. So it really shows our commitment to improving disability inclusion issues in Nigeria. So we appreciate you. In the absence of no comments or questions regarding the attendance, I would want to hand over to Shola Abe to proceed with the last session for today.
Hi, afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, so thank God for today. Okay, good afternoon. My name is Shola Abe. I'm a journalist and a young leader for Women Deliver. It's an international organization championing women's rights. So I'm happy to be here with you today. I listened to the first speaker and the second speaker. So today we are going to talk about partnership building and forming strong solidarity among women with disabilities during and after COVID-19. Yesterday, we talked about how we can leverage on communication to create awareness and call for a better life for ourselves, for policy advocacy. So today's topic is just like an extension of yesterday's topic, but in a way we are talking about partnership building. So why are we building partnerships? Why do we have to build partnership? Why is partnership so important? What is it about partnership? So we are going to be talking about it today, how we can build partnership and form strong solidarity, come together as one and call for change for ourselves. So what is partnership? When you give an assignment to one person and you give the same assignment to 5 other persons, the result from the 5 other persons, one will be faster. Why? Because the number of people working on the same assignment you gave to the one person is more. So when we talk about partnership, you're trying to, form relationships. You're trying to expand your capacity. You're trying to do things more, to achieve a goal. You're trying to form relationships with people. You're trying to expand capacity, so that you can, so that you can do more, so that you can achieve more. So when we talk about policy advocacy or calling for disability inclusion, when you build relationships with people, when you build relationships with organizations, when you build relationships with other stakeholders, you are expanding your capacity. And it is very, very important to build relationships. It is very important to build partnerships with other organizations to achieve a common goal. Meanwhile, when you're building capacity or when you're building partnership, you just do it without having a goal. You just build partnership with just any kind of organization. You have to consider some things, and they are very, very important. These things you are going to consider are very important in your policy advocacy, calling for disability inclusion, and calling for whatever change you want in the disability community. So in building relationships and partnerships, it is important that you consult with other organizations, like I said before. But these organizations must have similar goals. They must share similar goals and interests with you. You cannot build partnership with an organization who does not have a goal of probably helping disabled people, or helping to advocate for them, or helping to elevate their voices. You have to build partnerships with people who share the same goals, who share similar ideas with you. So while we are trying to partner with any other organization, like I said before, those ones who share similar goals and who share similar ideas with you, there are some things you need to consider. There are some things you need to look out for. Okay, so someone from Anambra, I heard someone from Anambra said that they partnered with some NGOs, they went along with some women, to on a peaceful protest against rape in the community, against rape in the states. That is an example of what I'm trying to say about building partnerships, with other organizations that have similar goals, organizations that, they share similar ideas with you. So what are the things to consider before partnering with an organization? Like I said before, they have to share similar goals with you. They have to share similar ideas. Then you have to check, have they done any similar initiative before? What you are looking at doing, have they done it before? If they have done it before, what was the result? Did they get any tangible results? Do you like the results? Those are some of the things you need to consider. Whatever initiative you want to do, have they done anything like that before? So are there opportunities, another factor or another thing to consider, are there opportunities that will come out from your partnership, opportunities for you? Or will the opportunity just be for them? Are there benefits you can gain from partnering with them? You have to sit down and look at these things. No sentiments, just what are the opportunities in my partnership with this person? If I partner with this person, will it bring the results that I want? Now, when both organizations come together, let's say you as an organization and the other person as an organization, you are coming together, to partner with yourself. You have to understand that you must contribute to whatever you want to do. Let's say you want to go on a peaceful protest. You should not, be at the back seat. You should not take it. You must contribute to whatever you want to do, that the both organizations wants to do. You should understand that you are also bringing something to the table. You should understand that you are also putting your input. You are not just going to be at the back seat. So there are different disabled people's organizations that you can partner with. Like we said before, you still have to consider if you have similar goals, if you have similar ideas. And this is why it is important, if you have an organization, if you've joined an organization, it is important to know your goals. It is important to know what your organization is all about, your mission, your vision, what is it that you want. And that's one of the things, it's a major thing before you partner with any other organization. Meanwhile, media partnership is also key to ensuring that your messages are propagated and reach policymakers. It is there is no there is if the media doesn't elevate your voices, there is no how you can get your grievances, or there's no how you can communicate to the government or to relevant stakeholders. So you need to talk to the media. You need media to help you, elevate your voices. You need media to help communicate what you want to the government. So we should try as much as possible to build partnerships with the media. For example, BONews is an example of a media organization helping us to elevate our voices, writing our stories. So in a situation where a media person comes and wants to interview you, in a situation like Dr. Debayo asked us about what challenges we are going through, just the way you are speaking. The thing is, if you don't talk, there's nothing the media wants to write about. There's nothing the media wants to communicate. So it's very important that you partner with the media, in elevating your issues. So women with disabilities have been selected in all states across this federation, just like we have here. Just like, we were selected from the 37 states in the country. It is just like that. We are this webinar is about representation. We are trying to represent everybody. We are trying to include everybody. So this is just like it's an example. So when you are partnering with any organization, it is important that you include everybody, both the deaf person, the visually impaired person, the person on wheelchair. Everybody is not left out. No one is left out. Everyone is included. So we are going to go to necessary information about building partnerships and coalitions. And here on my slide, I have most advocacy initiatives involve some degree of mobilizing public support behind the proposal. most advocacy initiatives, they involve some degree of mobilizing public support behind the proposal. Sometimes when you come up with advocacy, when you come up with proposals you want to do, most times you need public support. Most times you need organizations to help you do one or two things. Maybe because they are experts in it, maybe because your goals align, but there's always a need for a partnership. So sometimes you look at what partnerships and alliances are most likely to assist. You look at where you need this person and you ask for their support. Because the thing is, we cannot do all of this alone. This organization is championing this, another organization is championing this, the other organization is championing this. You are looking at how you can bring them all together to achieve a common goal. Do you know that partnership building is about expanding our capacity so that we can achieve one goal? So another thing to look out for is what processes can best achieve results. This advocacy we are going for, this advocacy, yes, this policy change we are calling for, this advocacy we want to do. What is best way? How do you think we can achieve it? Do you think, is there trust between the organizations that will be partnering together? If one organization claim that this initiative is just their own, or will they say that we are doing this together? So we also need to look at that. We are looking at trust. Is there trust? We trust these people to help us, to help us disseminate this message just the way we want it. Can we trust these people to say that, oh, we did this together, we came together to call for this change? Can we trust these people? Or will they just lay claim to this initiative? It is just their own. So we need to put that in consideration also. We also need to look at, should the initiative operate as an open coalition? And if what mechanisms are needed to enable participation and to assure accountability? There's need for accountability. There's need for every one person, irrespective of their positions, to participate in it. So is the organization you're partnering with, are they open to encouraging people, to participate? Are they open to being accountable? When you ask them questions, are they open to, will they be honest? So these are some of the things that one should look out for when you are partnering with other organizations. We also have to look at the support that is needed to build advocacy capacity. Are the organizations we are partnering with, are they open to having other organizations come on board where it is needed? For example, media. Do they want the work that you want to do? Are they open to having the media cover it? So, like we said yesterday, the media and the internet, they are one of the ways, they are one of the channels that we can, advocate our issues, that we can tell our stories, that we can get support from the public. We can partner with the media, even though the media it's not like an NGO in this sense now. But looking at the media is a great platform where we can share our stories through the internet, using social media platforms. We can share our stories. We can advocate for disability inclusion. We can call for better policies. Yes, better policies for ourselves. So when Dr. Bukola asked a question about the challenges we are going through in various states, a lady from Lagos State said that they are going through, one of the challenges was rape, and there are some organizations that are not. I didn't really get that. But the thing is, sometimes you need to identify, like we said before, some organizations that are keen on helping women. Let's say, for example, we are a group of women with disabilities. What organizations are working to help women? Sometimes we need to sit down and streamline what we are looking for. Now, for example, there's an organization that I know very well that is so open about championing women's rights, especially when it comes to rape, and they are called Stand to End Rape. You can check them out on Twitter. They are called Stand to End Rape. You can approach them and ask them, and tell them what you want. Are you able to represent us, like Dr. Ms. Ekaite said, that's a speaker, about the fact that women with disabilities, they are a major, they like they are I'm trying to find the word to to pass across my thoughts. Like, yes, rape is affecting many people, but they are one of the they are facing these challenges more. So, for example, you approach an NGO is championing women's rights, let's say for example, and you ask them, oh, we want to do this, we want you to help us, we want you to represent us, because for example, Stand to End Rape, they help you with judicial representations and everything like that. So in such circumstance or in such situation, you can approach them and you partner with them. So we are trying to identify NGOs that we can partner with, to achieve one goal, like we said. So now, employing tactics, we are now talking about employing tactics and negotiation. How do we employ tactics and negotiation in partnership building, in policy making? Advocacy, we mentioned it yesterday. I hope I'm not going too fast. I hope I'm not going too fast.
You're not. I'm sure you're not. You're not. The sign language interpreter is able to capture.
Okay. Thank you. So we said something yesterday that advocacy is just not once. You don't want to call for this disability solution and you are sending out a message just once and you want the government to just listen. It has to be constant. You are constantly disturbing. You are constant. In fact, you are not even disturbing. Sorry to use that word. You are constantly letting people know that this is what we want. We want this thing and we are going to get it. So advocacy is not just, it's not a single thing. Not just what you just don't push it out once. You don't tell what you want once. It is rarely a one-way communication process. So some advocacy, you need to do the work. You are sharing your stories. You are calling for disability inclusion. You are out there in the media. You are talking, letting people see you. You are putting yourself out there. So advocacy is not just about, oh, I have shared my story today, let me go and sit down. No, like I said yesterday, did you go through any challenges while you went to the bank and you were not put into consideration, or you were not attended well? Tell us. Share it on your Facebook page. Share it on Twitter. Did anybody talk down at you because of this or that? Oh, share it so that governments also, they are aware that these people are indeed they are going through this. Okay, is the disability community, like Dr. Bayo said yesterday, that when they say, oh, this number of people died, how many disabled people is there any statistics for disabled people? So when you talk about your issues, when you say that, oh, this is affecting us, and sincerely, since this COVID-19, they've been reporting increase of rape cases. But like Dr. Adebayo said yesterday, there is no statistics for disabled women. So we can't continue to keep quiet. You can't just say that, oh, you should know that this is affecting us too. If they don't know if you don't talk, they won't know that it is affecting you and how much it is affecting you. They won't know that you also have psychosocial needs. You need therapies and all those things that is available to the able community. So also, when you partner with NGOs, when you identify organizations that you want to partner with, it is necessary to know that sometimes the proposals you are taking to them, you have to modify it. We are still talking about employing tactics and negotiation. Sometimes you have to modify it, but do not forget that you have to understand your organization goals. You have to understand what your values are. So if you are modifying your proposals, make sure that what you want to achieve must be achieved. However, sometimes you may have to modify proposals, to accommodate what they want on board. Or so you can consider other alternatives. But these other alternatives, do they fit into what your organization or what you are as a body? Do they fit into your values? You need to look at that also. So what other proposals are they bringing on board? There are some things that that you cannot negotiate it. Let's say, for example, your organization is about standing for women's rights, disabled women's right, and this other organization is saying, we cannot say that they are disabled women or something. You know that no, this is who you are. This one is not negotiable. So that is an example of it. You know that there are some things you are going to say that, oh, I'm standing on this, it is not changing. And there are some things that you know that, oh, we can compromise on this, we can, oh, this one can go away for this one. So in my next slide, I'll be talking about employing tactics. I'm still talking about employing tactics and negotiation. And the last point is that regardless of the feedback from the policymakers or your level of compromise, like I said before, do ensure that your goal and objective is met. For example, like I said about the lady from Lagos who said, who talked about, rape affecting their community members. Let's say, for example, you meet Stand to End Rape. You tell them your issues, whatever proposals you are bringing on board, and whatever proposals they are also bringing, you are going to look at the two. What you are calling for is a representation of disabled women when it comes to rape. Okay, so what proposals are they bringing? What are you bringing on board? Whatever compromises or whatever you be compromising on, the end goal is that, oh, this objective, are we going to be represented? Are our issues going to be highlighted? Are we going to be attended to? So you are ensuring your goal and your objectives are met. So in summary, what partnership building is about expanding your capacity. You're expanding your capacity to achieve a goal. You're expanding your capacity to do more, to achieve more. And while you are doing this, for whatever organization you want to partner with or you are looking at partnering with, you must ensure that you share similar goals. You must ensure that you share similar interests, and you don't just approach an NGO or you just don't approach an organization. Identify the organizations you want to approach and see if their values, if they align with yours. By then, you can now continue, you can now approach them and you table your request. And where your table and your request does not fit into your mission or your vision or do not represent your values or will not represent your community members, like we are saying, or like we've been preaching, inclusion, representation, where it will not include others, where it will not represent others, it is important that you drop or you leave such organization, or you do not go ahead to partner with such organizations. So I hope we got something from this presentation. I end this session. I'd like Dr. Adebayo to share with us highlights of how the Lagos State government was engaged strategically in the camp.
Hello.
Yeah.
I think before we go to that means we're ending the session on that note, right? With Dr. Adebayo's comments. But I think before we proceed with that, you gave us a task yesterday on how to engage the Minister for Women Affairs. Let's say, okay, we've been able to talk about the need to communicate.
Oh yeah, that's
okay. So we have a platform because that's where we're progressing to really. Because they're going to engage the relevant Ministry of Women Affairs, Humanitarian Development, Humanitarian Affairs, and Health in our next engagement. So how do we think we can communicate to this set of people to ensure that our demands are met based on what you already taught us yesterday? So maybe we can have a few comments, then we have Dr. tell us about taxes and negotiations, compromise, and not ensuring that your standards are not, you're able to meet up with standards, objectives are met. Maybe we can have people to comment on that.
Okay.
Can we have people give their comments? Either we give the comments or we type with the chat box. It is quite important because this is why we are here, basically. So we've been told on the need to be able to communicate to relevant stakeholders, and she has been able to tell us yesterday on various platforms to communicate using the ICT, leveraging on ICT, considering how affordable it could be for DPOs and women with disabilities to engage and getting results. So I would also want us to share, based on the exam assignment she gave to us yesterday, for us to be able to share that, okay, this are the things we can do as individuals. This is how we can engage the necessary relevant stakeholders. What are those strategies I would like to share? Anyone who wants to talk, you can go ahead to talk. You can unmute yourself and talk.
Okay.
Oh,
Hello.
Ahmed, I have a couple of
Hello.
hands up. Okay, please go ahead.
Hello.
You have the floor.
Scholastica. Scholastica
From
from
where, please?
Abuja.
Okay, thank you.
Abuja. Abuja. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay. I just want to say, when we have, well, we know the importance of partnering with houses. Whatever program we do here, we always invite the media, because the media, we all know, is the voice of the people. There's nothing we can do for the society to be heard of without the media being taken along. So we all know the importance of the media houses, and we always involve them in all our disability programs here in the FCT. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. We appreciate. Okay, so I have another hand up. I tell 833. Just I couldn't get your name. Okay, so can you please share a comment? Okay, how Ahmed, can you please share a comment? Your hand is up. How Ahmed, I tell 833. Abdullahi Salamatu. Hello, we were given this task yesterday. It's just like a take home for us to be able to talk about the strategies. And one of the strategies that Scholastic from FCT shared with us is engaging the media. Okay, maybe we know that we can't articulate our thoughts by ourselves. We want to use the media. Can you hear me, the sign language interpreter?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, you should
Hello.
talk.
Hello. Hello.
Hello, can hear
Okay.
you.
Okay, please go ahead if you have a comment. Yes, please.
Okay. This one Ncheta speaking from Ambra.
Go ahead, please.
I thank Madam Shola for the wonderful lecture she has given us. My comment is based on the assignment given to us yesterday on the strategies to communicate. I think to me, using the basic one of it is using media and social media. That is Facebook, WhatsApp, Twitter, Instagram, many of them, and media personnel too. Radio, television, all these ones, they are the basic one of it. But in communicating to our audience, so that to make sure that they understand, because another thing, one thing is to communicate, another thing is to make sure that the audience is understanding you. I mean, the languages we are using to communicate. And one of it is we should focus on the issue that we are communicating. You know, sometimes when we are communicating, most of the times we will leave the issue that we are discussing and divert to another one. We should focus on the main issues, the main message that we are communicating, and we should be genuine on it, be empathize and be flexible towards our audience. We use our affirming responses. When you are communicating, we make sure that the response that and you're getting from your audience are very, very affirming. And we use words that include, that make the audience include, belongs to what we are doing. Sometimes some of the words we use, we exclude, we make them to exclude, feel that they do not belong to that particular issue we are trying to communicate. And we do not assume that everyone share on the same religions, and that everyone have one religious belief. No, because as we are now in Nigeria, we have different types of religions. My religion will not be that of other or that of my audience. And when we are communicating, we make sure that we do not assume we have the same religious belief. And we look at everyone in the as an audience that we put smiling face whenever we are discussing, whenever we are communicating, so that they make some, we will not go on as in jam our face as if to say something we are offended at home before we come outside to communicate on the issue we are talking about. So I believe when we put all these things into practice, it will help us to make our communication to be very, very effective. Thank you. Hello?
Hello.
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 Do you get what I said?
Yes, we did. Thank you so much. I'm very sure Shola was also taking notes. Okay, so do you have
Hello.
any? Yes, we heard you. So do you have any other comments?
Hello, excuse me, please, can
Hello.
I talk? Hello.
Okay, please go ahead.
Scholastica.
Okay, please go
Scholastica.
ahead.
All right. Please, I want to maybe this one maybe might just be kind of advice or a comment. I don't do it. It depends on how you take it. I want to advise my women, fellow women with disabilities. Please, when we are talking of communication, how do we communicate with ourselves when we have a problem? Why I'm saying this, like a lady was raped here in Abuja, a blind lady. I wouldn't even really want to say rape because that was done to her several times. She did not speak up, not even a child. Somebody in her 20s. She was afraid to speak up because the culprit threatened her. She was in a school, and if she told anybody, she wouldn't be given a certificate. She kept quiet. This went on for about 7 times. When I heard of it, when it was brought to the public, we were all very angry. I said, please, are you hearing me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, so I said, come. Even you are close to so person, this madam, you should have confided in her. So please, that's what confided in her, so that we wouldn't have got up to that extent, the extent which it got to. Though action was taken and even the culprit was expelled from his workplace. But what I'm trying to say is that we should find confidence in at least somebody, even if you can't come up and talk, maybe because you are shy or you are afraid of being victimized. Talk to somebody else to help you talk, so that your voice will be heard. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Speaking of, it takes so much for someone to be
Hello.
able to. Okay, we have someone. Hello, can you have your comment?
Hello.
Hello.
Please go ahead.
Okay.
Hello. Okay, good afternoon.
Hello, please, we can hear you. Go ahead
Hello.
with your comment.
Hello. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Tell us your name as you
Hello.
Hello, we can hear you.
Okay. I want to talk about the issue of.
I think the time. Okay.
Hello.
If you're not saying anything, please mute your audio. We can hear you. Please go ahead with your comment. Just tell us your name and go ahead.
Yeah.
Hello.
Speaking from Kaduna. Hello.
Madam Christy,
Hello.
talk.
Bola space on the line.
Hello.
Hello. Hello.
Yeah.
Bola, please
Good
go on.
afternoon.
We can hear you. Go
We can
ahead.
hear you.
My suggest is that we lady we must be very careful. Women with disability to sleep around the people unknowing person. Hello. Hello. Hello.
We
Hello.
can hear you.
We can hear you talk, madam.
Okay. We can.
Okay, I actually had to mute everybody. I guess she's having issues. Oh, maybe she couldn't hear us very well. That's why she keeps saying hello. So, Bola Tito from Madam Bola Tito from Osun. You can.
Hello. Are you hearing me?
Please go ahead
Hello.
with your comments. We can hear you.
Hello, please, can I talk?
Go ahead. You have the floor.
Okay, so I want to say something because about the assignments that we were given on strategies to convey our information. Let's say, for example, that we want to talk about, we want to talk to the Minister of Women Affairs or the public at large. So one thing that I've realized is that, and according to what we were taught yesterday, that the act of storytelling is a very important way to pass information. So when we are talking contact them through their account, the public will also see. And I feel like when the public sees, people give their own feedback or their own personal stories, which can make the information you are trying to put out more strong and detailed. So I just think that when we invite media to come and cover the programs, and we should also make good use of Twitter account, especially because many people really get information from it.
Hello. Hello.
Okay, thank you so much, Maiwa from.
I hope you heard me.
Hello.
Yes,
Say
you heard me.
something.
Okay, please go ahead.
Hello.
What's your name? Tell us your name and your
Yeah,
state. You can make your comment.
I am joining from Enugu State. I am Victoria Ifoma Chukwu Atsu. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. I want to make a comment concerning a way forward or more strategies on how we can attack this problem of violence and rape and with disabilities. It's not all about talking of media, because when we begin to at all this, we will find that many of these cases are happening in the communities, down to the grassroots. And where you see that even though people with disabilities suffering all this, most of them don't have Twitter, Android phones that can access WhatsApp and so on and so forth. So I want to encourage all of us that as we go back to our various states, we can extend this information to our communities through awareness campaign and through the means of communicating with our emirs and Igwes, people, our community leaders or traditional rulers. We can go to them, write to them, or draw a kind of proposal or a letter to tell them that we want to speak to the community, the people in the community. We talk to them, we will create awareness, let them know that there is need to protect our own rights. Not just talking of media, though I know that media is equally very important, but most of these problems that we are raising is really come from villages, communities where there are no modern technologies. And some of these people, most of them are really people can you not even have phone, talk more of talking of the kind of Android phone that could access WhatsApp, Twitter, and so on and so forth. Thank you.
Hello. Good afternoon.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Everyone.
Okay.
Hello. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. What's your name and where are you? Okay.
Sorry. Can you hear me, ma?
Hello.
Yes, we can hear you. Please go ahead with your comment. Please, if you are not saying anything now, just mute your microphone.
Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Good afternoon.
Okay, Blessing
Bala
from
to
Ogun State has the floor. Let's have Blessing, and after Blessing, they can have something.
We hello.
Bala to from Oyo State. As a women with disability, we have a lot of things to do, and we're supposed to contribute in any area we find ourselves as a women with disability. Because if you don't contribute to anything to society, if there is time for them to give returns for what we have done. So, hello,
Go
hello.
on, Madam Bola Tito.
Okay, so and another my advice or like suggestion is that as a women we're supposed to have something we we're supposed to empower ourselves, not looking down or begging around as a woman by begging from some money or lobbying unnecessary visiting. They can do and undo. So we to respect ourselves and our child. We're supposed to limit send our hello.
We can hear you.
Hello.
Go ahead, please. Go ahead.
Okay. As a women, we're supposed to take care of our child because of the child abuse at during the COVID-19 and a lot of things happen, but it's not rampant in Osun state here. So we have a lot of things to do. As what there's a lot of thing I want to raise is that Commissioner for Women Affairs. What I don't know all the and ministry. I don't even know whether they think we are exist because the program they are doing in the state in the local they will just boycott women with disability. At times if we go to a local government they will still asking us that we don't register with a local government. A lot of things we have a lot of things to do from root to the federal level. That's my contribution. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much. We really appreciate your comments and feedback. This is actually going to help us. And this is part of the things we said that we should collate as seeing our experience in our experiences in all the respective states. So we can have something as a more like a position paper to be able to engage the relevant stakeholders. Okay, so over to you, Blessings from Ogun State.
Hello.
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 Hello. Yes, we can hear you.
Hello, can you hear me? I still want to drop a very important point before I.
Okay, your name, please.
Please, I'm still talking from Enugu State. I'm
Okay,
informer
ma'am.
by name from
Okay,
Enugu
ma'am.
State.
Okay, ma'am.
A very important point. I just want to, as much as we are talking of trying to protect our right and talking of violation against rape for women with disabilities, we should equally remember that we have to work on ourselves. We have to work on ourselves in a sense that when we are going out or moving out, our mode of
Okay, I can't hear anything again. Um, I have Madam Billy Kisses hand up. Okay, so do you have any other person who has any comments so we know how
Hello.
much?
Yes, please let me quickly chip in something before you close, please.
Okay,
Scholastic
ma'am.
Abuja.
Okay.
Please, my sister from Osun State. What should I want to let her know that nobody will speak for you. We are saying that when they come, they don't involve you in things. I don't know if you don't have I think you have association of people with disabilities there. So please, you have to organize yourselves, come together as women with disabilities. You can start if you don't have, so that your voices will be heard there. You don't expect the commissioner of women affairs to come and start looking for your houses. She will be the one to come to be form an organization and go have your meetings and visit them and let them know that you exist. They won't look for you. Nobody looks for people with disabilities. So we'll be the one to speak up for ourselves. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much for that point you raised. And I think I want to quickly chip in something. Hello?
Hello, can hear you.
Oh, yeah, someone was trying to make a point. I want to be sure I'm not cutting anybody. Okay, good afternoon, madam.
I'm Ramato Hamid speaking from Kaduna.
Okay,
Hello?
please go ahead, ma'am. Go ahead, ma'am.
My suggestion here to women with disability is they should try and partner with female journalists. And also female journalists, like in Kaduna, we are partnering with Nawaj.
Okay, yeah, great.
With Nawaj, it will really it will be a great help to women with disability by showing our concern and in telling the society who we are. Like mostly most of the women with disability in the north, they don't know their rights. It's only few of them that are a little educated that can come up and cry out for their rights and also fight for inclusion in their society. So with this, I think other women with disability in other can also partner with them because they will really work hand in hand with women with disabilities.
Hello. Hello.
Thank you so much,
Hello.
Rama Muhammad. Okay, so yes.
Hello.
So yeah, go ahead. You can make your point.
Hello. Hello.
Hello, ma. We can hear you.
Okay, my name is Augusta Bassi. Hello. Hello.
Augusta Bassi from.
Hello.
Go on, we can hear you. We can hear you.
Okay. To add it up there with others or with what other of my colleagues are saying is that some of our women, I don't know, we cannot just want to say something when we have any problem. We cannot just want to air our views out. Why I'm saying this is that there was an interview that was conducted here in Cross River State by Federal Psychiatric Hospital that some person with disability was there in the hall, and some board members coming from Abuja, they were asking, is there any physically challenged person here? Please, that the person should indicate. And there was a woman with disability inside the hall. Hello? Hello?
Go ahead, we can hear you.
Hello? Yes, but she refused to indicate. She refused to talk. And opportunity, because she's supposed to have an automatic employment, opportunity just missed her. So please, my dear sisters, we should just try and see how we can just air out our mind in any way that we can do. And another thing, we shouldn't just allow our disability to weigh us down. Try to be.
For taking our time to be on this yesterday, today, we couldn't have done this alone. If we are trying to make all of those things happen and there is nobody to participate or to attend it, nothing would have been able to happen. And I also want to thank our participants. You've done excellently well for us. Thank you so much. Thank you for your time. If you have any queries or any questions, you can reach out to me. You can reach out to my colleague Omolara. You can send us email. You can do WhatsApp. I think WhatsApp is even faster. And if you've not filled the form, I'm going to be sharing the forms with the links to day one attendance, day two attendance, and the form with us. The payment form. But please let's ensure that we do not share with anybody that do not attend the meeting. Because I realize that those that would not receive registration link to participate in the meeting, most of them participated in the meeting yesterday, and it's going to cause a lot of issues regarding logistics and all of that. But we are looking at how to sort that out. So let's ensure that this is just amongst ourselves, please and please. On that note, I would say we've come to the end of the session for today. Or do you have anybody who wants to end anything first?
So, on behalf of all of us,
Hello?
Okay, thank you. Who is that on behalf of all participants? What's your name?
Hello?
Hello?
I want to say something. Hello?
Okay, hello. Who is that? What's your name, please?
Bola Tito from Osun State.
Okay, ma. Okay, ma.
Okay, yeah, I don't see anybody from Kwara State or your state. In case of next time, let this
Eh?
information. Hello,
There are people from there. Maybe they try not to talk. We
hello.
have hello. Can someone from Kwara State indicate? There was
Eh?
even a
I
message
don't
from. We have people from across the country. The places we wouldn't
from
get
Oyo
people from.
State.
Yes, yes.
Okay, okay,
There's
I can
someone
see
from
that
Oyo.
person. Okay,
Even
okay.
someone from Kwara,
Oh,
Bolarin Joy. We have people from across
okay.
the country.
Oh,
So we
okay,
have to
okay.
thank you
Thank you
so much
very
for
much.
that news. Yes.
You are
It's not
welcome.
a particular region thing, it's the whole federation. So we ensure that we're able to
Okay,
get people from across the federation. Please, before we go, let's put on
okay.
our video so we can take a group picture. Please, please put on your video. Even if you're not
Can
looking so
you see
beautiful.
me?
Let the
Can you
video,
see
put
me?
on our video.
Yes, I
Can you
can see
see
you.
me? We'll take a group picture. Yeah.
Please,
Yes.
oh, where?
Okay. Beautiful faces. Wow, wow, wow.
This is video me.
Kind of
That
look.
is group picture.
Cheese.
Let's hold on. Some videos are not on. Abba Shehu Hussein. Equal, don't say bye bye yet. They're still trying to take videos. We're trying to take pictures.
Now we are saying thank you to BONews for this opportunity. God bless you.
Amen. Thank you so much, Ma. And we should also thank our founder, Urgent Action Fund, for making this possible.
We
Thank
are
you.
thanking them
Okay, let's
all.
hold on. We're still taking the picture. I'm taking one. I'm trying to take for the second page. Okay.
I'm not out.
Ma?
Hello. I'm not
Hello?
saying.
Hello? Okay,
It's not
just
coming
let,
up.
don't worry,
Hello.
we're taking pictures. Hello, if you're unable
Thanks
to
so
put on
much.
your
I
video,
really
don't
learned
worry.
a lot.
Madam Blessing, are you getting me?
I'm getting a couple of you, but I'm seeing some men among us, so
Ah,
Man, what are you doing here?
this is supposed
oh,
to
you will share
be,
the
we have,
pictures with us.
yes, I'll share the pictures. I'll share the pictures
Share the
with us.
pictures, Abby.
Yes, I'll share the pictures. We're
Hide your
planning to
faces.
Appreciation. All women with disabilities across the 36 states and FCT, the facilitators, and Urgent Action Fund Africa.
A production of BONews Service 2020.